practice with Evolve Strong was entitled Habits. And we really worked on what do we do in our yoga practice that have become really beneficial habits, and what are some things that are not serving us and that we can exchange out. But then also just that habit word seems to take on a negative, at least for me. It's like the smoking, cigarettes, doing drugs, drinking, whatever we consider as bad habits, but we don't talk as much about those good habits. And also maybe just changing the verbiage from habit to ritual or ceremony or tradition, something else that might help us, like getting up in the morning for some of us is not easy. So if we made that, instead of, I'm going to start getting into the habit of getting up early, maybe it would be, I'm going to start having my own personal ceremony by greeting the day in a certain way at a certain time. So it's just, again, a way of changing maybe the verbiage and the way we think, because habits aren't just actions. They're not just the things we do, but they're also what we have going over and over and over again in our mind. And that's a more difficult thing to unplug. But if we can start taking action into other things, that can help us release some of that other as well. So think about what that might be for you guys today, and processing through your practice and in your day. Okay. And we will start in a chair. I'm going to have another chair available. You guys just might want to have that other chair available for the days that I extend things. And also, if you don't have that other chair, and some of the things we do, you can do on the ground, please go ahead and do that as well. All right. This is for you all to grow and be in your own personal way and practice. Okay. So if I'm not hearing anybody that says I need this, I need that. Yeah.
I think for me, shoulders, and just the upper part. I'm working on posture. I'm intending to do a lot of slumping, and I'm trying to, have that corrected. So.
Okay. All right. Upright spine, shoulders back, getting some release here. Area.
Thank you.
Can do that. Yeah. And we will continue to work on our breath, Lydia. And every breath will send out to you in your upcoming processes. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and get started in a chair then. Getting myself off the ground. And I have, if you guys will, I'm going to go ahead and mute you, I guess. If you will, I've got some nice, sweet music playing that I'm hoping isn't interruptive at all. But, give me feedback on that afterwards. There's Cheryl wanting in. Let me let her in here. Because I never know quite how Zoom is going to do with, a background noise of sorts or music. So anyways, I just thought, since I've got two devices now, one can play my my Pandora, and the other I can be looking at you on, and eventually hopefully get onto the bigger screen so that I can see all of you a little bit more. Okay, so I've muted you all. Thanks for being here. And it's 10:04, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So as Chris noted, this art that I have behind me that I was talking about, its title is The Tree of Life. And I love it because of the birds and the music and the colors, and it's just vibrant and alive. And if you're interested ever in looking this woman up, she's from Mexico originally. She lives in Placitas, and she and her husband, Tom Fruge, are the ones that give us Albuquerque every year, except for this last year. And so if you don't know about that, you might want to look that up as well. But Jade Leyva, Leyva, I believe, is the way she spells her name. So generally, it's our tradition to begin in a mountain pose with our feet planted flat on the ground. We'll get there, but let's start in something a little bit different today. Let's go ahead and take our toes against, and our foot up against each of the legs of your chair, and let's let the knees come in, all right? We don't often get a lot of this internal hip rotations. A lot of what we tend to do, I think because I like it and I need it, is that external rotation of our hips. But this internal is also really good for us. So I'm going to let my knees just find themselves connected in this tent-like manner. If you want to take this to the ground, this would be when you're laying flat, knees are bent, feet are out, and knees are together in that tent position. So, but again, let's work on having that back be nice and long. Closing eyes if you'd like. Feeling your breath. Really moving in and out in a nice flowing manner. As every breath helps you to release a little bit more and more into your shoulders, melting any heaviness away. And there's a Jewish saying that says, let's not carry the dead on the branches of a tree of life. And so again, back to the symbolism of the tree behind me. Making sure that we're carrying those things that bring us joy and happiness. But when other things arise, doesn't mean we ignore them, but we help to lift them up with that joyful spirit, that feeling of alegría. I love that word in Spanish, alegría. If I were to rename my daughter, I would have chosen that, alegría. And feeling again, hips are different, right? When we're like this. And if you'd like, you can begin to activate by pushing down through your feet. I think someone was just trying to come in. By pushing down through your feet and pushing your knees together. Okay, let's see Josephine. There we go, if I could get her in there. Josephine. And doing that is going to change this in from a more of a, thank you, welcome Josephine, sorry. More of a restorative yin by being just like this to more active, okay? Because now I'm energizing through my legs and I can feel that, right? All the way up into my quadriceps, into my glutes, into my core. And again, maintaining that length of my spine. I know someone just said something on there. That's the thing, when I have a bigger screen, it might be a little bit better. All right, so here we are. Now, we're gonna go ahead and do some
Julie, sorry to interrupt. They were asking to turn the music down a little, that it's interfering with your voice. So.
Thank you. I'm gonna turn it off. And just come back to, thank you. I needed that because I cannot hear what you guys are hearing. And for me, it seemed to be rather balanced, but we'll just go back to this. That feels good to me. All right, so now let's go ahead and take our toes and our feet together as much as possible and open up our knees, open up our hips, and we're going to sit with that straight spine again. And I'm gonna take my hands, open them up, palms out, fingers down, shoulders down, and just find some breath here. Not activating into my feet or trying to push anything. I'm just letting those knees come out, letting my hands extend downward. I am putting a little bit of energy into my arms because I'm not just letting them hang, because that's going to draw me forward and my whole spine forward. So I am going to let them have some activity here. And now I'm going to go ahead and activate a little more into my legs. So I'm going to start squeezing into my glutes, pressing my feet together. And this is just an option. You can still stay very relaxed in it and not go into that at all. What do you seek in your practice? Are you trying to strengthen? Are you trying to relax? Are you working on balance? Are you working on flexibility? Okay, so yoga can bring all of those things, and you can pick and choose as well. So right now I'm just squeezing into my glutes and pushing into my feet because that's what I feel I need right now. And the backs of my hands are kind of pressing into my inner knees. And I'm going to exhale, relax my muscles. And now I want to bring my feet in, plant them into that neutral position. So this is, again, where we generally start our practice. But I just wanted you to get that sensation of what else we can do with our hips and with our knees, with the placement of our feet. So right now they're flat on the ground. We're going to change up some things today, like I talked about, those habits. And some of them are really good. For instance, generally, I will have you inhale when we come into cow, and I'll have you exhale when we come into cat. And that is the general way that we teach cat and cow. Generally, any of our positions in yoga where we're opening up ourselves, moving away from the ground, we're inhaling. And generally, when we're coming back down and inward, closer to the ground, we're exhaling. We're going to switch that up, okay? So take a big inhale here in neutral. And then exhale as you move into your cow. Take that into an inhale as you curl, tuck, and round. So let that belly extend out, look at it, and then bring yourself up and exhale. Keep going in this reversed kind of manner. As I pull forward, I let my shoulders come down. As I come up, I pull my shoulders down. We round forward, but I pull them down. And then I pull them down again as I lift up and exhale. Maybe taking that exhale out of my mouth even. Open up your mouth. Let your air expand. Breathing your life force into the heavens. Let's do 2 more slow sets like that. And bringing yourself back into center. Part of changing habits or rituals or things you do as well is to look at the things that we are afraid to do, right? So for me, I don't know about afraid, but there's certain poses that I'm not as comfortable to do. So I'm going to add some of those today to make myself kind of push myself, cross my boundary a little bit. And one of those is lion's pose. Lion's pose is really good for your facial muscles, for relaxing and releasing the muscles in your head and neck. And so with lion, we're going to inhale through our nose. We're going to exhale with a sound and with our tongues extending out and with our facial muscles really engaged, okay? So let's all look funny and do a lion pose together. So inhale here. And squeezing eyes together. Squeezing your muscles of your face together, letting that tongue come out, all right, and release. Let's do that again. A couple more times. Inhale. Make a sound. Let's roar. Here comes Inky. Inhale. And relaxing out of that. And now let's go ahead and take some asymmetrical shoulder rolls. Generally, we do this. We're going to do some asymmetrical ones. Left comes down, right goes back, left comes up and down, right comes up and down. And let's just keep that moving there. Breathing with it. Letting your arms follow the shoulders, okay? Because they're part of that. They're going to react to what you're doing. So let that happen wherever your hands may decide to be. And then let's switch that out. Take the opposite shoulder and move them forward, taking turns. And for those of you that want, because you're all muted, if you ever want your own music, since it seems like maybe mine won't work to have it playing, then you can always do that, right? Okay, and then here we are. And let's go ahead and take our arms, cross the left over the right, and let's just keep crossing as much as we can, making this really tight X. And when you can't make it anymore, take your hands around your back, okay? Generally, we'll come up to the shoulders. I want you to come a little bit lower with that hug. Okay, so we're squeezing in at our breast line there, okay? Squeezing and pulling back on those ribs that are behind us, letting those shoulders come down. Squeeze in as much as you're comfortable doing. And I'm gonna go ahead and look up. And I'm gonna exhale down. Feel that lengthening in the back of the neck. That feels good. Keep squeezing. Let's do one more lengthening up. And take it on down. And let's go ahead and release our arms out. Remember which arm was on top. That was the left. And let's cross. My right comes over my left. As tight as I can. Okay. And then bend and squeeze into. Maybe I can hold on to my shoulder blades or my ribs back there. Okay. See where your hands will reach. Pull those shoulders down. And now I'm going to inhale with my chin coming down. And exhale as my chin lifts. Keep going. Keep squeezing. One more time. And releasing arms. Let them come out here. And we're going to just let our torso tilt to the right. Okay, we're still letting the arms stay at shoulder height. We're doing this through our core and our obliques here. Coming back up, inhale. Exhale, take yourself down wherever you end up going. And you're going to find out, inhale up, that when you come back, you may find you've released a little bit more just because your body is finding that flexibility. Easy breath. Okay. In the normal way right now, we'll switch that up. And my hands are flat and downward right now. I'm not sure where yours are. You can leave them however they are. We're going to switch that out a bit. Let's do one more each side. When I come into the center, I really lengthen both sides out. Same thing. When I come over, it's this teeter-totter effect, and we're all at a different place in our teeter-totters, and that's good. Bringing yourself up. And I'm going to flip my hands upwards now. If yours were down, then if yours were up, then flip them down. So just do the opposite. Taking my fingers and spreading them out a little bit more. I'm going to feel more of that into my arms. And this time, when I come over, I'm going to inhale. When I come back to center, I'm going to exhale. Okay? So. And I know a lot of times, just keep going. At the beginning, when people start in, they want to be reminded, okay, when do I exhale? And when do I inhale? I'm kind of messing you guys up today with changing it around. But really, in the very most important part of the lesson is it doesn't really matter as long as you are moving with your breath. But again, traditionally, if you want to help and remind yourself, it's going to fold our arms down. Coming down, we exhale, lifting up, we inhale, okay? So that can be kind of your guiding light. But if you find yourself breathing in that opposite format, there's no worries there, okay? All right, let's go ahead now and come into kind of crossing over at the ankles. So we're on the outsides of our feet, right? And this would be if we were sitting down on the ground, and any of you that would want to take to the ground, you can, would be your easy pose or Sukhasana. You can also take these feet up onto your chair. You can also take that second chair in and build your Sukhasana that way. But this is fine as well, okay? So from here, we're going to go ahead and raise our arms up, inhale. And take them down, exhale. And 2 more times. With your breath. Whoops, I don't know what that is there.
We can't hear you, Julie. You're muted.
There you go. Can you hear me now? Yes. All right. So lifting up, left arm forward, right arm back. Good. Lift up, inhale. Exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Good. Getting into a simple twist here, okay? Find your breath. Lifting up, maybe with the palms upward, pushing down as you come into your twist, slight twist. Let's do one more side, each side. Good. And now both arms rise up and come into that twist one more time, one side. Let the front hand, that's my left, I'm not sure about you guys, and I'm gonna cross it to my right knee, okay? My right hand's gonna go onto the back seat or place it behind me on my seat, okay? And I'm gonna be nice and straight and tall. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a look over that shoulder. And thanks you guys for chiming in and letting me know what's going on there. It's going to be a little bit of transition time. Come on back around, but keep your left hand to your right knee or whichever one you have. Let the other arm extend upward, okay? So we're going to find ourselves in a really nice side bend here. And I'm holding on to my opposite knee, pressing down with both feet evenly so that my knees don't bow in or out, and really lengthening here, feeling that I really need to hold on with my hand at my knee, or else if I didn't, you know what would happen? Whew, with all that weight, I would be going out of my chair to the side. So let's don't do that. Okay. But anyways, thank you. It's going to take me a little time. Go ahead, inhale up. As I'm transitioning, right hand comes down, both hands come down. Transitioning from one device to the other, trying to work them both in. Inhale, lifting. Let's do that again. Exhale. Let's come over now to the other side. Okay, so now my right hand is forward. It's going to take my left knee. My left hand comes to the chair back or the chair seat, pressing down, lifting up, lengthen that spine, and then come on, back around, feeling that in the waist. We've already done some of our waist work. Not wasted work, but our work for our waistline, our obliques. And then bringing yourself forward, lift that left arm up or whichever arm is behind you. And let's come on over, still holding on to the thigh or the knee and keeping the knees forward. Keep pressing down solidly into sits bones evenly to my feet evenly. And letting myself go here. That's good. And bringing myself up, slowly coming out of that. And exhale, just release both hands, let them hang down. Maintaining that nice straight spine. Every exhale, feel your shoulders pulling down farther and farther away from you. And then let's raise our arms up, inhale. Come high onto the balls of your feet, press down so you can activate those calves, okay? And then bend into both elbows and hold on to the opposite elbow, pushing down into the ground, pressing with the balls of your feet and just keeping that straight spine. We're not letting go in that lumbar spine right now. We're just holding on, lengthening the side body, keeping my neck as straight as possible here. Remember what arm is on top because we're going to switch that out. Keep pressing down with your feet and then lift your arms up. Inhale. And then exhale. Grab onto opposite elbows with the opposite arm on top, right? Because again, habits, and it's just because our bodies work in a really asymmetrical way sometimes, okay? We're very symmetrical, but yet one side of our body tends to do a little bit more, a little bit less than the other. All right, let's let your feet relax. Your arms rise up, gaze follows, hands come down, exhale. Open up your knees. Hold on to the legs of your chair. Hold in at your belly and bring yourself forward into a flat spine, right? Maintain that flat spine. Hold in at your core with this. So I'm looking straight down. I'm holding on to the legs of the chair so that I don't go face planting. Okay, pull in at your belly. Breathing here. That's nice straight spine. Chris, you talked about that straight spine, and it's a lot of ways to find it, all right? I would also do some work up against the wall. It's a suggestion for you. Have a chair that really has a straight back on it. Holding on like this, doing anything where you can stack your vertebrae one on top of the other, or in this manner, they're not stacked on top of one another, but they're following each other in a horizontal pattern. And then I'm going to bring myself up slowly. Inhale. And then let myself come back down. Exhale. Come into that flat spine one more time, pushing evenly into your feet. I'm going to release my left hand and let it come down to the floor. If the floor is not accessible to me, there's those blocks, okay? So you can also use a block. And my right hand's coming on top of my right thigh. Gonna press down into the floor with one hand, pressing into the thigh with my other. And I begin this slow twist with the long spine. Twists have to initiate with a long spine. Okay? And you also want to be very slow and steady when you're going into those twists. Push down, look back, breathing. Keeping a long spine, slowly release out of the twist, looking straight down, switching out my hands onto block or the ground. Left hand for me is coming on my thigh, my right hand's down. Yours may be opposite. I'm looking down first, and then I'm saying, can I bring my crown of my head closer to you all? All right, that means I'm lengthening my spine. I'm pushing, pulling back into my hips, right, and elongating. Then I'm gonna go ahead and take that twist and looking over and back, over my left shoulder, back behind me. Breathing. And with a straight spine, releasing back, forward. My right hand comes on top of my thigh as well, and push myself back up into that straight spine. Extend my hands, arms long here. And let's cat-cow here. Take it with whichever form of breath you guys want to go, okay? So your cow can be an inhale or an exhale. Different than what we did before because we have our hips open, externally rotated here. So that means it allows me at least a little bit more mobility. And let's do 2 or 3 more. My suggestion is that you all choose a posture that you are familiar with, comfortable with, feel good about, and try it 2 or 3, 4 times a day. Come back into sitting up neutral, and let's make some circles with our torso. Okay, riding on our hips, just coming around. So it's excited because the woman that I've been working with for prenatal classes, she just had her baby yesterday, everything went well. It's going on the opposite way. But I think about her with these hip openers and the hip circles. We did a lot of those for her to get through her pregnancy in a good way and to come into the birthing day in a nice strong way as well. One more time around. So happy birthday to Lucy yesterday. Coming back into stillness here. And let's go ahead and before we take that second share, let's work in and out of a warrior 1, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and take my leg over the side of my chair. And if you need a block underneath your foot, you can sure do that. But otherwise, just kind of situate yourself so that you feel like you're able to have knee and ankle in alignment and knee and hip in alignment on that side leg. And that happens to be my right one on that side. And the other one, we're just going to set it out, toes towards me, or again, you can take that block down and set your knee and your shin bone on that block. And that's what I'm going to do today, okay, for this position. Make sure that I'm not going to fall off the chair. And again, finding that straight spine. And then lifting my arms up, inhale. Remember, your warrior 1s are arms lifted upward and your hips are more forward than in warrior 2. As our arms are up, let's go ahead and take some circles with our wrists. Find yourself elongating those breaths and reverse your circles. Bend your elbows a little bit, and let's take those McFists and take rotations with the whole forearm, wrist, elbow, and I'm going to go ahead and begin to get into my chest and my shoulders. Okay, by making that a little bit bigger. I'm going to go and reverse that. It's like those toys we used to have that we'd have to go like this and make those sounds, those noises. And then slowly rising up and finding those wrist circles going in that direction, and then fingers all the way up. Looking up and looking down. Looking up and gazing down, chin to chest. Looking up here. Take hands into prayer position and place the base of your hand at the base of your skull. Fingers downwards. You should feel this in your triceps. And if you want, you can lower your chin towards your chest. Or just maintain your head upright. See what feels right for you. If your head's upright, you're going to feel it a little more in the tricep. If you bend, you just get that into the neck area there. So again, just shaking up a little bit of what we would normally do in a warrior one with different arm movements. And releasing arms, hands upward. And let's take it into what we find to be more normal. My front arm, my left arm's coming back onto the chair, right? I'm laying down my leg, my right arm stays up, and then I find my heart expressing itself upward, breathing. And then bringing myself up, both hands lift. Now the hand close to the inside of the chair, my right hand comes back, pushing down into the seat of the chair and pushing down maybe into my knee and my shin. And I lift up with the other hand, almost lifting myself out of the seat, and my heart comes up as well. And then bringing both arms up, inhale. And exhale, let's come in to try to mudra cactus arms here, and let your heart come forward. And let yourself rise up, inhale, lift. Hands come into prayer above you. Find your biceps by your ears. We're going to come in to salute the gods and goddesses. And we're going to curl here. Tuck, round, chin to chest. Fingers point at an angle downward. You come down only as far as you are comfortable and you feel like you're in total control, right? And we're pulling at the navel, especially if you find your head coming lower than your heart. That's not necessary, okay? And then breathe yourself up slowly on an inhale. And exhale, taking hands back behind you, interlace in that way that is most uncommon. Squeezing here. And taking myself over at an angle. I'm going to come into humble warrior here. You can do this standing if you'd like. I'm going to keep my spine really straight. And I'm only going to come down again to where I feel I'm in total control of what's going on here. Pulling at my navel. And you can also release your hands. One hand can come down and the other can come to your thigh. Okay. And in that way you may feel that you can go a little bit lower. And releasing the ego. Releasing it, coming into this humble expression here, where your hands are still behind you. Pulling in at the navel, lifting ourselves up, arms up. One more time, try to mudra. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands come down. Take a breath here. Should feel a little bit exhilarated in the chest area and the core area. And let's go ahead and switch that out now. We'll be repeating on the other side, trying to repeat on the other side. So I'm going to keep my blocks available if you have them, need them, desire them. And finding first your really good alignment. And I'm working with one leg at a time, knee, ankle, hip on the side, and my other knee under my hip, and the foot coming right back from that knee, right? Feeling really stable here, really connected. And lift my arms up, inhale. And I'm going to begin those rotations in one direction with my wrists. Starting to lower those a bit, and then coming into bent elbows and beginning to enliven those circles a little bit more, feeling it in my shoulders, in my chest. And then starting to reverse that and taking my arms up slowly. Coming up. The wrists turn and rotate at the top, stretching out the side body. Really inhale here. Fingers extend up, open up wide, just making sure I still have my hips forward. My arms are long, the side of the body is really opening up the ribs there. I'm going to go ahead and take my front arm and come down that leg or onto the back of the chair. Find where it works for you all. And then let your heart lift up. Head comes back. Hand releases upward a little bit more. Heart is full of joy, happiness, bringing in that meditation message into our practice right now as well. Breathing and lifting up slowly, raising that right arm from the up, lengthen the side body, pressing down with foot solidly, shin solidly, and then my other hand, the hand closest to the inside of the chair, comes down. That's my left. Come and grab into the back of the chair seat back, or the seat, and push down and lift up and bend into that lower arms, elbows, so that my heart can come up a little bit more. Feel supported here. And then lifting up, inhale. Both arms rise up. Exhale, come into Triangle Mudra. Inhale, rise. Exhale. Rising on up, inhale. Crossing the opposite thumb over for prayer position, because generally we'll cross one thumb prior to the other. Making sure our arms are nice and straight, bending into the elbows and placing the base of my hand at the base of my skull. Letting my head rest back there. I like letting my heart expand, or staying nice and straight and just getting what we want and can out of that tricep stretch, or letting the chin come downward. Doing the opening of the back of the neck. Find what feels right for you. Explore it, express it, create it. Name it and claim it. One of my teachers taught me that. Lifting up. Let my arms rise up. Inhale. And then I'm going to go ahead and cross again. Coming in to salute to the gods and goddesses. Pulling at my navel. Bring myself forward. Keeping my biceps by my ears. Really lengthening here. finding the depth that calls to you for your lower spine, pulling at your navel. Don't want you to go any farther than just as feeling like you are in a nice salute here. Pull in at the navel. Bring yourself slowly up here. And exhale, hands come down, bring them behind you. Interlace again in that opposite way that you did before. Squeezing shoulder blades together, looking up. Get a good heart opening here. Shifting your body weight back into straight spine. Taking yourself over at an angle and bringing yourself slightly down. This may be it, okay? And that is good. Staying here, continuing to breathe and let yourself sink down farther, if that feels right. Or releasing your hands, one hand to block, the other to thigh. And then you can also maybe find yourself coming into this humble warrior in a little deeper fashion, but only if that's right for you. Making sure you stay on the chair and that the shift of your body doesn't push the chair away from you. Mine just decided to take a little bit of movement. It's always nice too to be either on carpet or on a mat with your chair so it doesn't shift around. And again, you either let go of your hands or you still have them connected. Wherever you are, begin to slowly rise back up, bringing your head up and then releasing hands. Both come up. Let's exhale, Triad Mudra. Inhale up. And exhale, hands come down. Taking a breath or two here. Good. All right, so that was a nice extensive warrior one. Let's go ahead and take the second chair if you have that available. If not, don't worry about it. You don't have to have that second chair. You can, if you're one that goes to the floor, and take yourself to the ground if you'd like. We're going to have that second chair, and we're going to go into Peaceful Warrior after doing so much of that warrior one. And my chair is not padded, so I'm going to make sure I have a blanket there. And this will be a good shoulder opening for you, Chris. You mentioned about that. But first, we're going to get that flat spine that you also mentioned. And I like working out of the two chairs because I can slide forward to get more length in my spine. I can push back through my tailbone. That's what I want to get here. And I'm going to take one hand over the other and my forehead down so that my cervical spine stays nice and straight. All right, so whatever you need to do for the kind of chair you're working on, if you're not using that second chair and you're not going to the ground, then just find yourself maybe stretching out into that half lift with your hands on blocks in front of you and a nice straight spine and a tailbone long behind you. All right, so there's different ways to go about doing this. Let's take a few breaths here as we feel our bellies pressing outward into our thighs, our inner thighs. Good. And then we're going to lift up, and my left hand's going to stay on the chair. I need to move it in a little bit more. My right arm's going to come up. I'm going to look at that right arm, and I'm going to come into a bit of a twist first. Okay, so I've kind of bent my left elbow, forearms on the one chair, looking up at the right arm there. And now I'm going to take that right hand underneath, and that whole arm underneath my left armpit. And I'm going to come and rest my right shoulder, my right bicep on the chair. Just opening up the shoulder there, maybe supporting my head with my hand, more of a blanket, something again so that I can keep my my neck from overextending. I'm going to keep myself from one place to the other. But just being able to feel that opening in the shoulder area there. Taking a couple breaths here. And then bringing yourself out as we came in. So that arm is going to extend back up, looking, coming into that twist. And then exhale. That right hand and arm, forearm come to the chair now. And my left arm comes up, looking up, coming into that twist of sorts. And then I'm going to release, fingers down underneath my right arm, coming in to rest on that left shoulder with the left side of my head down on the chair. And again, you don't want your neck in a weird position, so cushion it with your hand. That's what I'm doing. I have my hand in a fist, and I'm resting the side of my head there on that fist, okay? Could also bunch up my blanket a little bit more, but just find something where you can feel the shoulder opening, but you're not doing some weird thing with your neck, okay? Finding comfort here, best we can. And then placing my right hand back down on the chair, my left one's going to come back up and come into that twist. And releasing back, letting both hands be on the chair, letting myself sit up and coming into a nice big diamond shape. So earlier today, we started with our sitting in the chair, knees open, feet together with the sides of the feet on the ground. So you can go back to that if you like, or we can be up on the chair. And here, just like before, we've got to use our core even more maybe now than when our feet were downward, because this tends to want to push us back. So we have to pull ourselves forward and work the core a little bit more when the feet are lifted a little bit higher. So again, choose which is best for you. And we're going to just do a little flowing here. I'm going to slide down my legs so those are either grounded on, not on that second chair or on the chair. And let my head follow and flow with it. Bring my hands back, lift, look, and just come back into this kind of flowing snake-like motion. This is something that people do in belly dance classes. They really learn to use the undulations of our body, activating all the muscles in our core, especially. Let's do 2 more here. Your breath is your guide. It's your true music here. Coming up. And then extending legs long. And again, you may have quite a bend right there, depending on how open the backside of your legs are. So separate your feet about hips distance. And if you're working in just one chair, then just take your feet at a diagonal downward and have them resting on your heels. And that's also opening up the backside of your legs. All right. So here we are, sitting up straight and tall, core work here. We could just stay like this. And this is strengthening, okay, for our core. And if we just did this, closed our eyes, and we were breathing, conscious of our breath, we're doing yoga. This is staff pose here with legs out forward. And if I am flexing into my feet, I'm making that an active pose. Or I can point, lengthen, and I'm going to feel that a little bit more. And you might want to just do that. But let's keep ourselves really active here. I know at once Sherry was saying how this is challenging for her. Again, take yourself up against a wall and get into that feeling or sensation of what that feels like to be in this staff pose, in this L shape. And then, release your legs, release your belly, let everything go, and let yourself fall forward. Exhale. Forward fold. Don't let your muscles have to do anything right now. Let the head go. Step forward, pull in your navel. I do want you to do that. Keep your lower spine protected by doing that, but everything else, let it go. And then slowly rising up, one vertebrae at a time. And then taking both legs down. You can release yourself from one chair and turn back towards you now. And find yourself now way in the back of your chair. We bend forward on our chair, come way back, all right? And to do that, we either have our feet going back and forth like this because of the height of your chair, the length of your leg, or you can put yourself on blocks to stabilize yourself. You can come up like I'm doing now to get my ankle to open and the balls of my feet to activate, and a little bit of activity there for the calf. But I want to push back into that chair, and I want to push back into the lumbar section too, right? So we're not letting everything go yet, just about to. I want you to really activate through your body, through your legs, through your core, through your glutes, all the way up your spine and into your shoulders, okay? Pressing against whatever it is your body's in contact with right now. Let's take a couple breaths like this. And exhale, releasing. Let your heavy head go. No muscle engagement. Let your lower spine release from the back of the chair. Let your belly hang out right now, okay? This is where we find ourselves a lot in our day, right? It's kind of slumped over. So know the difference. Know when you want to release and when you want to activate, okay? So from here, just find whatever's a comfortable way for you to come to the end of class. I'm just going to open up my legs and my hips. You may want to sit just in a nice straight mountain pose there. Now let's take a few breaths. And just contemplating some of the habits that we have created that are really good, that we want to maintain or that we want to even improve upon. And the more we focus on those and those ceremonies and those rituals personalized that we're going to build into our life, the less time we'll have to focus on any of the remaining habits that we're trying to release and let go of. Thank you for trying some different things today. And thank you for the feedback on what I was trying to do that was different. And eventually I'm going to get you guys so I can zoom you on my bigger screen so I can see more of you on here, because I can just see myself and 3 people. But I'm getting there.